Hello, gorgeous, and welcome back to the Collective. I am super excited about tonight's segment because it's not just any conversation. This is not girl talk, y'all. It's going to be so powerful, so purposeful, and filled with radical permission. I have sitting here with me a bold hearted coach. She's a community leader and the visionary founder of the Pink Sheep Society. Y'all, she teaches her clients that feel like the black sheep of the world to live without regret. And y'all know that is my kind of carrying on. So without any further delay, help me welcome the beautiful Dalia Kemble to the stage. I am so excited about this.
Hello, I'm so excited too, and thank you for having me.
You are welcome. So I'm going to get the live popped up over here so I can read any comments that come in. Do you mind introducing yourself to the community? Tell them who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so hello everyone, first of all. I'm Dalia. I help the black sheep to have the courage to live without regrets because I think that there are too many people who end up following a path that isn't necessarily theirs, and they do what they think they should be doing versus what they actually want to be doing. So I'm all about helping people to uncover what their true desires are and what it is that they truly want in their life, and to have the courage to go after that. So yeah, that is what I do. And I'm currently in Thailand, so we're on different days, which I love. It's so cool.
Love this so much. So for us here in Nashville, it is 7:45 p.m. For Dahlia, it's 7:45 a.m., which is wild to me. We connected last week, y'all, and we're on opposite sides of the world, but we are aligned in so many ways. And I just know this conversation is going to be the fire that you guys have been needing to set your summer off right. So drop down some flames if you are in the comments. If you're here, tag a friend because they are not going to want to miss this. Okay? Cool. So, Dahlia, this is like main character energy meets the black sheep of the family. I know this is going to be great. When we had our conversation, we talked about clarity and how, like, that is the key to any sort of change, any sort of like motivation. And so, I want to know for women who are finally recognizing that they're living somebody else's story, that they're not really dancing to the beat of the drum that their family or friend group wants them to dance to, like, what does that actually look like when they start waking up to that idea that they're not walking or living their own path?
Wow, it's a great question. And the truth is, when you're out of alignment, nothing flows. Everything kind of feels forced and pressured, and sometimes it even manifests into physical stuff. Like you can be getting, I know for me, like when I wasn't expressing myself, I used to always get throat infections. And I never connected it to the fact that I wasn't expressing and sharing my voice or anything like that. But when I did start, then it stopped. And then I was like, there's this connection of how much the connection of like the mind and the physical as well. So I think when you do start recognizing that I always say it's like you know inside that little voice that you're meant for more. Like life can be great on the outside. It doesn't even need to mean that everything is like pear-shaped and you need to flip everything around. I work with so many people and like they have a great job and they have a great apartment and everything is great. And from the outside, life looks great. But inside there's that feeling of I'm not fulfilled, I'm overworked, I'm burnt out. I know there's something more, like I'm meant for more. And I think when you start recognizing that, the awareness around that really is the first step to change. Because if you're not
Yeah.
aware, like how can you even start to make that change? So once you have the awareness, it's like, oh, you're already in the game, and you know there's no going back, and it's only moving forward. And it takes a lot of courage to get to that place. And I think one of the things that's so important is to surround yourself with people who not just believe in you, who normalize what you're going after, so you don't think you're still crazy, and people who have already gone after the things that you want, so you can actually learn from them. Because otherwise, it's like really hard to feel like you're the only one and you're doing it alone, and like, why am I not normal? What is wrong with me? Like all of these questions. So I think surrounding yourself intentionally with people who are normalizing that, who do believe that it's possible, who have done it, so you can prove to yourself if they've done it, I can have it too. I think that's like a really important first part of the process as well.
So good. Like throat infections, like literally throat chakra blocked, not speaking up for myself. Like, wow. So incredible. So you're stating to normalize or surround yourself with people that normalize the change in what you want. So how does someone know? Like, how do they distinguish the difference between what they want and what everybody else wants for them?
Yeah. So I like to differentiate when I work with clients. I like to differentiate. You've got like the inner voice and the calm and everything around that, but then you've got that outside noise, which is usually everyone else's opinions. And it takes a lot of time to unlearn or to decondition from that. And the truth is, like sometimes it does. It takes. It's like I've been hearing something or I've been seeing something for so long. I don't even question. Like questioning and curiosity is a big part of the game for sure.
Mhm.
So I think getting curious about that. Um, I'm always in a tangent there, so now I forgot what the original question was.
So, how does someone distinguish between what they want and what other people want for them?
Well, I'm a big believer that we all have that little voice inside, and it's like there's this knowing that like something feels off, something doesn't feel in alignment, something feels kind of weird as well. So then it's about like it's interesting because I'm going to take a step back for a second. I think a lot of the time when I start getting like working on the clarity piece with people as well, the first thing that comes up when I ask people what they want, like even just being in that question, what do you want? Like when was the last time you even sat and asked that question? It's such a powerful question, and we don't do it. So like we don't take the time to even reflect and to do that. But it's interesting. Something that I noticed is that when I start asking people that question, like what do you want? Number one, a lot of people don't know what they want, but number two, they're very clear on what they don't want, which is really really interesting because I'm a big believer that if you're clear on what you don't want, then it's really easy to like flip that around and to start getting clear on what you do want. And I think when you do have that knowing, or you're getting inspired by something, or you're being called to something, and you have that little voice, it's something you're meant to go after. And if you've got like a load, like something that I also help clients with as well is prioritizing. And I'm a big believer that you can have everything, but you can't have everything at once. So I've had
Yes.
clients who have come to me and it's like, what do you want? And like, what is that next step? And it's like, but I want to write a book and I want to skydive and I want to do this and I want to do that. Great. You can do all of that. I believe you can do that and more, but we're not going to do everything at once. So like, what's the first thing that's calling you? And I think that when you get clear on that, like that first thing, and you take one tiny step towards that, and then the next step and the next step and the next step, that's how things really start to evolve. So it's not even about knowing and having clarity on the whole path and what the rest of your life is going to look like, because we can't plan for that anyway. But like, if you just focus on taking one small step in the direction of what you're being called to, everything starts to flow and build and follow from that. Like even this conversation, this connection, it's like I wanted to be on more podcasts and connect and like connect with more like-minded people, and like I got onto groups and I was like, I'm just going to start connecting and seeing what's going on, and here we are. And I know you've done the same thing, so it's like I don't know where things are going to lead to, but when you take one step towards what you're being called to do, everything flows and builds and compounds from that place as well.
Yes, I think that we're in alignment in that, because I often tell my clients in the collective that the next logical step, look, we're not worried about that whole staircase. Just what is the next logical step to move you closer to the person you desire to be? So I love that. So, so good. What would you say within the pink sheep society is one of the biggest blockers for clarity? What would you say your clients struggle with the most when it comes to that?
I think it's a mix of kind of feeling misunderstood,
Hmm.
but also a lot of doubt, which is interesting because doubt comes from your own, like, it oftentimes comes from a place of like, I'm really, really clear on what I want. I start to go after it. I think of going after it. And then you hit this brick wall of like, oh, wait, maybe I can't. Maybe I shouldn't. All of these things as well. So it comes, I think it's like a mix between your own self doubt and also other people's opinions that often hold us back. And something that I've had to get really masterful at in my own life, and I'm still working on, so I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to everyone as well, is being mindful of whose opinions you listen to, which is huge, huge, huge. And you can have people around you who love you dearly and who mean the best. And you got to really ask yourself, like, am I listening to the opinions of people who have what I want, or who are going after what I want, or who deeply care about me? And it's not about not listening and not taking that into account, but I think you've got to be really mindful of intentionally surrounding yourself by certain people, by listening to those opinions, and by not letting every judgment and all of these things like really hold us back. That's a big thing that often gets in the way. Like even when you have the clarity, it's like, yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing, I'm going after it, and then boom, brick wall.
Yes. So, totally agree. I call it the board of directors. And so I have a million people that I love, but not everybody gets to sit at that table of directors for opinions that actually apply to my goals or my dreams or what I want for life. So, love it. Love it. Love it. So, speaking of clarity, we talked about this when we had our initial conversation. You said, when you say I'm the black sheep of the family, your mom is like, don't call yourself that. So, give the collective some clarity on what they might feel like or how they could identify themselves as someone who is a black sheep. Like, what do you mean by that?
It's a great question. I love this conversation. And yeah, like I had to do a lot of work. I still do a lot of work around owning certain parts and what other people are going to think about that. And I'm just on a personal mission to even change how the world sees the black sheep, because I think that being a black sheep isn't necessarily a bad thing. And I think if you ask most people in society, it does have a negative connotation of like you're selfish or you're the rebel or you're just doing things for the sake of doing things and like everything around that. And I'm like, no, like I see it as you probably are more unconventional. You're called to do certain things that other people, you're not conforming to, I would say, you're not conforming to society. Like that's the big thing. If you're someone who questions and you're curious about everything and you're like, this path isn't meant for me. Like I'm not meant to do these things just because everyone else is doing that. And you have that question in. I think if you know, like for me, if someone starts talking about it, I'm just like, yeah, we're on a level. We know we get each other, sort of thing. And I don't think it's a bad thing. And I think when you intentionally surround yourself by people who get you as well, it makes a big difference. Otherwise, you just have like a million people in your life, and there's not that deep level of connection as well. But yeah, I just see it as someone who has the courage to really go after what they want. And that doesn't mean that you're not scared shitless in the process, right?
Right.
I think courage is about having so much fear, but you do it anyway because you know there's bigger and better on the other side of that. And then you just inspire other people to do the same. But I think when you do first start to recognize that, you can start to even question, like, am I the only, like, what is wrong with me? Like, why? I literally used to ask myself, like, why can't I just be more normal? Like, why can't I just want to do like easy what everyone else is doing? Life would be so much easier. And the truth is it wouldn't, because it wouldn't be in alignment with what I'm meant to be doing in this life.
Yes. No, I totally agree. I say that all the time. So I tell my alarm's going off. I tell the people in the collective all the time that like I'm unshakable by all means, but that doesn't mean I don't get scared. I just do it anyway. And so I'm like, okay, you're scared, that's fine. What are we gonna do about it? We still get to move. so so
Yeah.
definitely, yes, definitely I can see that. So for the main characters on the call, I know that lots of times we have a difficult time with courage to disappoint people. Like my community is filled with people that are overcoming people pleasing and overcoming perfectionism. What does that look like for your client? Like what does bravery in the moment look like? And how do you help someone weigh like the emotional weight of choosing themselves over someone else?
I think honestly, it comes with the gift of time and taking action. I say this to people all the time. Like most clients when I first start working with them, like one of the things they want to work on is like feeling more confident and having that, like knowing that, like have that self-expression comes with that. And I'm like, but like one of the things I coach around is that you're not just going to get there. You're not, and I think it's something like a misconception in the world in general. Like we're just going to hopefully get there over time or feel more confident. And it's like, it's only going to come with taking action. So I think being in the game is the biggest thing, like literally continuing to be in the game. And you'll go just like riding a bike or learning to walk or whatever it is, like you're going to get better over time and it's going to feel more natural. Like at the beginning it is not going to feel good. And I think one of the biggest things is that we've been conditioned, like if it doesn't feel good, something's wrong. Like nothing's gone wrong. If it doesn't feel good and you're like, oh my god, this feels like absolute crap, that's probably a good sign that there's so much growth on the other side of that. I still remember like my first ever story video on Instagram. And I still remember this. It took me like an hour to do a 15-second video because I'm like the biggest recovering perfectionist on the planet. And my coach challenged me. She was like, just do 15 seconds and say something. And I was like, I have no issue traveling solo around the world, jumping out of planes, all of these things, but literally from the comfort of my home in front of the camera and being visible, like that made me feel like so vulnerable and just like, I can't do this, which is crazy. And but again, like this was a few years ago, and it's still like every single time I went live, every single time I went in front of the camera, it was like it didn't feel natural, it didn't feel normal. I didn't enjoy doing it. I was like, but I know like there's going to be growth on the other side of that. And now it's like I'm just talking to you, and like there's people watching this, and I'm like, cool, like they can get inspired by this, but. I don't have those same things, but it comes with literally being in the game and doing it. So I think if you are on the other side and you're being called to do something and it feels fucking uncomfortable, like do take that first little step and be
Yeah.
proud of yourself every time you're doing it, because you're in the game, and that is the only way to learn. Like I think something else that's really important is to give yourself permission to make mistakes along the way instead of beating yourself up. Like that is a big thing. And I remember like even recently I created like a free resource, and I like done it by myself, and it was the first time, and I was like so proud and so excited, and I forgot to press one of the settings on the email so that people, like when they actually sign up, I can see that and they're like connected to my email list. And at the beginning I was like, you're so fucking stupid, why did you like, and I started beating myself up like most of us do. And then I was like, but if I wasn't in the game and I didn't do it, I wouldn't have learned. And I learned right at the, like pretty quick at the beginning, so then I could fix it and do something about it. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like even if you're going to make a mistake along the way, you get to learn from it and get better moving forward. But if you don't make the mistakes, you're just basically not in the game, and you're not going to move forward from that place. So stay in the game, learn from it, like really be proud of every single step that you're taking. And I think having the right support along the way and the right encouragement and push, whether it's coaching, mentoring, surrounding yourself with people, community, like those things are really powerful and important as well.
Yes, definitely. I think you said in our conversation, you said that confidence and courage are a byproduct of action, meaning that like you want all these things, and we all do. We want to be courageous, we want to be bold, but that comes from actually taking the action, the messy action. And I cannot tell you how many times I'll put something together and I'm so proud of it, and I'll send it to my coach, and she's like, this is great, but we forgot this, and this. And I could sit and be like, I shouldn't have done this, but I'd rather just take the feedback and act and move so that it's better, right? So you're right. Like so many times it just starts with getting in the game. And people on the sidelines are going to talk junk, but they're on the sidelines. So we don't care.
It's so true. It's so true. I say that all the time. Like if you're in the game, like disconnect, just like stay in, keep being in there. And again, I think that's why the support and the mentorship and the coaching is so important as well, because when you're in the game, you got to master your mind, you got to master your mindset. Like otherwise it's really good, it's going to be easy to be like, oh, this doesn't feel good, like let's go back. And no, like once you're in, you got to carry on forward, but you need the right mindset to continue to do that as well. And the truth is, like even when you get to a certain place where you want to get to, or you accomplish a certain thing, I am a big believer that your potential grows as you grow as well. So there's going to be the next thing and the next level of comfort zone. And if like something that's really powerful is like, even if you look back now in your life and you look back 5 years ago and you start to realize like, oh my God, I'm doing things right now that were once a dream or I never thought or imagined I'd be doing. So the same thing's going to happen as you're moving forward as well. So I think it's really powerful to have that reflection and just like continue building on from that place as well.
Yes, definitely. So we are girlies who take big, bold leaps, like radical action all the time. But what does a micro dose for bravery look like? So one of the things that I do with my clients is we'll just do little small actions. Like maybe it's speaking up in a meeting, maybe it's telling somebody no. What does that look like in everyday life for a micro action that does something that's bold or confident? And it might be a small celebration for us, but for them, it's huge.
So for me, for example, one of my clients actually recently wanted to increase their presence on LinkedIn. So, but like they haven't posted for like over a year, and it was like such a big deal to post and to put something out there. So the first thing was like literally writing that first post, which took so much courage. And I know that looking back, it's like you might be like, oh, it's just a post, but like that was such a big thing, and that was like such a big deal. And it's like I'm a big believer, once you break through that first barrier of like doing that scary bold thing, then it's like, oh wow, I did it. And you start to build the confidence and the courage that you can actually do it. Like the more you actually take action, the more you build the confidence that you can do this. And you also, the more you build the trust within yourself, when you start to like set action and you actually do it and you follow through on those commitments, the more you build the trust within yourself. So if, for example, you want to express yourself more and you want to increase your presence on social or whatever it is. It could literally be by putting up one story or one post, and you don't even need to be talking. Like for some people, I know for me, like when I first started doing it, I was like, I'm not at a place to put up a video right now, but it was like, I'm just going to put up something or even share something from someone else, just to kind of like get, like, literally regulate your nervous system to start doing it as well. So yeah, like sometimes for some people it's like, I just need to jump right in and like, I'm gonna freaking skydive and do the thing. And for other people it's like, no, I need to regulate and take the first step, and both are absolutely fine. But it's like, just take a small action, whatever it is. Like if you're, for example, like even now when I'm like looking to connect and to increase network and like just have these connections, it's like, it could be like, I'm going to intentionally connect with one person today. That's it. Just one thing, but still like being in the game and taking that imperfect action is really, really powerful. Imperfect action is the key. That's the key. And as a recovering perfectionist, I know how hard that is and how much sense it probably makes, but it's like, but how do I do this?
No, listen, you are speaking my language. Like I am the world's biggest recovering people pleaser and perfectionist. And I can remember re-recording videos that were like, 30 seconds, 5, 10, 15 times. Like, and I'm like, why am I doing this? And I've learned that people don't want you to be like perfect. They want you to be real. They want you to be raw. They want you to be relatable. And a lot of that comes with your ums and not having it all your ducks in a row. And that's just life. And those are the people that I resonate with. So obviously, we like the same kind of people in our communities where you are just yourself. So tell me how someone who is like, they know that they're meant for more, right? And yet they cling to their comfort zone. How do you support them? How do you support somebody that's like, I know I want to do it, but I'm scared. I can't. Like, how do we help them?
I think the biggest thing is that you've got to want to change. Like you've got to want to make the change. You've got to be in the place. Like I'm not going to ever work with someone who's like, I want it, but I'm not going to take action. I'm not going to do it, because it's like, if you're not going to take the action, you're not going to see results from that place. I think with a lot of love and compassion of like, it's totally normal to feel scared and to feel all of those things. But then the people that I kind of, that are in my world more, are like, I feel scared. I know like I'm going to feel these things, but I'm still going to do it anyway, because I know that I know there's no other way. Like there's no, like I think when you get to a place where you know that staying in the cost of staying in your comfort zone and staying in that place is a lot higher than going after the thing that you want, and the fear and everything that comes up around that. I think a lot shifts. Like you've got to get to the place where, if I look in a year or 5 years from now or 10 years from now and imagine myself in the place I am now and I didn't take that action, and I don't even want to think about that, like you got to be in that place versus like, okay, what's the best case scenario that's going to happen of going after the big things? Like sometimes I think that's a big and powerful mindset shift as well, because I think it's really easy when we are going after big things and leaving our comfort zone and doing things that we haven't done before, and our brain is trained to keep us safe. So I think when you're going after that, when you're going after all of that stuff, I literally forgot what I was going to say. I was like, so many things I want to say.
Yes.
I'm going to listen to the recording and come back to this and be like, I should have said that.
But you said something there. You said your brain is not trained. Like, it's just trained to keep you safe. Like, I can't stress enough. Like, your brain is not designed to make you happy. Your brain is not designed to make you reach your goals. Your brain is designed to keep you safe. So as you said, when you're taking that action and you're making moves and it feels uncomfortable, we're like, I'm doing something wrong. No, sister, you're doing something right. Like, it should be. Growth is uncomfortable. There's grief that comes with that, but it's necessary. It's a necessary part of getting to that next level. So I love that so much.
100%. Well, what I was going to say as well is that I think it's really powerful to train our mind to think of the best case scenario, because it's really easy to think of like, I'm going to go after this big things and all the potential fears and everything that can come up around that and all the potential things that could go wrong. And it's like, what if what if this was the best thing that ever happened to me? What if this happened? What if that happened? And I think like this is literally something I done with a client this week. It was like, even around like the posting on and sharing more, it was like, but what if people aren't going to like me? And what if people are going to judge me? And like obviously deeper things like around that. And it's like, but what if you're going to inspire someone? What if this is going to help you to do this? What if someone's going to like that and you're going to have a connection and that's going to lead to a networking opportunity with work? There's like so many positive, like I call them positive what ifs, but like possibilities, what if possibilities, like when you focused on that and you're intentional about that. Like this is an exercise I do with clients all the time. It's like, if you're taking that next step, take a moment to take a piece of paper and write down all of the what ifs, like everything in your mind of like what could happen, like all the negative, or like the go into that spiral. And then on the flip side, what are all the possibilities? Like what if, focusing on the best case. And after you take that action, literally, like you gotta coach yourself and train yourself to really focus on that, and it makes a big difference.
Yes, I always say, like, what is the worst thing that could happen? What is the best thing that could happen? And if they were both true, would I still take the action? And most of the time, the answer is absolutely
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Like, absolutely yes. So you have been reaching out, getting on people's podcasts, networking, doing the connecting thing. I was doing the same thing just a week ago, which led to this beautiful collaboration. How big a part or role would you say that community is when you are living a life without regrets or rewriting your story? And how can someone find those safe places when they feel like they're the odd one out?
I love this question. Honestly, I think community is huge. I think it's one of the biggest, most important things, like literally your environment and who you're surrounding yourself with. And it's so funny because, like, I live on an island that most people are doing unconventional things, or we're like, there's a lot of digital nomads. So it's like, even that is like kind of breaking a lot of things as well. But even just how people, I don't know, live relationships and work on their businesses and things like, there's a lot of, controversial, unconventional, however you want to say it. And it's so interesting because I used to think like the way I used to think wasn't normal. And like when I'm surrounded in certain environments, I'm like, I feel like the odd one, like kind of the fish out of water sort of thing. And when I'm like in another environment, I'm like, yeah, this is like, obviously this is totally normal. So I think when you're surrounding yourself with people who like not even think the same way as you, because I actually love challenge. I love surrounding myself with people who don't challenge me to think differently. But I think when you're surrounded by like-minded people, it's really powerful. And especially if you're going after big things, you got to be willing to be different. Like you're doing something that most people aren't doing. You got to be okay with being judged and everything that comes with that. But being surrounded by the right people and community is huge, like so powerful. I think it's one of the biggest things, like that is going to cut your timeline to get to any place that you want to get in life. It's like surround yourself with people who aren't just doing what you're doing, who have already achieved that. Like you get to learn from that and cut your timeline so much quicker. I love surrounding myself with people, if I'm going after something, who are further along on the journey, because I'm like, I get to learn from them. I get to get inspired by them to see what's possible. Like that was the thing that changed the trajectory of my whole life. Like I remember the first time I was traveling and I met a digital nomad, and I didn't even realize at the time. I was like, oh, how long have you been traveling for? And they're like, we've been on the road for 4 years. And I was like, huh? Tell me more. And then everything started to kind of like spiral from that place. But I think curiosity and literally surrounding yourself with people who are inspiring you. And sometimes if it's like if you're in a place where you're like, but how do I even find these people in person? Start with virtual, start with Facebook groups, start with podcasts, start with Instagram and who you're following. Like being intentional around what you're consuming is huge. Sometimes it's like it doesn't have to be, it can be in person, and there's so many ways to do that. Like every time I go to a new place, like if I'm living in a new place, and this is how I met a lot of people now, I find like Facebook groups for like the specific place where they're at, and then I like just post on there and like start to meet people and connect that way, or go to different meetups or workshops or whatever it is. But even if you're not in that place yet and you're like, but there's no one around me physically, either start with virtual or challenge yourself to leave your comfort zone and do something that you've never done before. Like it could be, I enjoy playing paddle, for example. I just started playing paddle, so it just came up. So I'm going to go and play with people, or do so, or like whatever it is, or I enjoy music, so I'm going to go and find an event where there's a music thing, and maybe I'm going to connect to like-minded people that way. There's so many different ways. I think when you're in the mindset of like, how can I get to where I want, versus like, can I do it or can I not? It's like the solutions start to open up. So yeah, even virtual now, I think this is a blessing. Like we're literally in different on other sides of the world, and it's like we're here together. Like that's freaking cool. Like and we literally met via a Facebook group. So this is proof that it works.
Agree. People say very frequently, they're like, Kayla, do you know all those people on your Facebook? I'm like, no, but you meet strangers, you introduce yourself, you're not strangers anymore. And like
Yes.
my coach, some of my closest friends I met initially through Facebook groups or through some sort of marketing where we had like-minded interests, we liked each other a lot, and then we're like, you know what, let's go hang out. And that was that. And so I do think that we get to take advantage of this amazing resource called the internet.
Yes,
It's a good
yes.
thing. Cool. So my next question is about, because you deal with people who consider themselves a black sheep. I deal with people that are rewriting their narrative. So lots of times when you are changing or growing, it requires some disconnection first. So, how do you help people that are navigating the loneliness that comes with breaking generational patterns or rewriting their stories for themselves? Because that can be really, really heavy. And I think lots of times people see mindset and motivation coaches, and we're always firing them up to take the next move. But there's actually some loneliness and grief that comes in there.
Yeah, no, there definitely is for sure. And that if I think if you're not surrounded by the right people, going back to that, it can definitely be a lonely path. And in terms of like disconnection, specifically from people, I'll speak about for a second, because I think a lot of the time people think, but like, well, then if there's people around me who aren't supporting me or aren't like accepting what I'm going after, what do I do about that? And I like personally, I say it's never, you don't have to disconnect from anyone unless you choose to. Like unless obviously something's really toxic, and then you probably should. But there's going to be people in your life who may not get it, or may not support, or may not understand. That doesn't mean you need to disconnect from those people. And at the same time, I think it's about adding into your life. So I'm not about necessarily taking away. I'm like, how can you intentionally add things into your life? Like you can have people around you and everything, like that you might not always be on the same page, which is absolutely fine, and you can love them dearly and they can still be part of your life. And at the same time, you can intentionally work on adding more of that like-mindedness into your life, so you can kind of build on from that place. So it's not about taking away or this or that, like going back to the perfection all or nothing. It's about how can I have both. And I'm a big believer that in anything in life you can have both of both worlds as well.
I, instead of taking away, I tell my clients it's the I love you and, like, I am totally one of the girls. I love to travel the world. When I first went to meet my coaching group, I went to Orlando, so I was going across the country to meet some people I'd never met, and my family was freaking out. I was like, I love you and I'm still going. Like, I've been meeting with them virtually for 6 months. I trust these people. It's going to be fine. So it's not that I was disconnecting. It was just I'm also adding this new tribe of people who really get me. So like I love that. I do.
I think the truth is the more you do that, and the more you are then connected to like-minded people, the more actual appreciation and the more love you actually have for everyone anyway. Because it's like you don't feel any resentment, you don't feel anything else that's coming up, or you don't feel that loneliness anymore, because it's like I had that connection and I still have amazing people in my life as well. Like you can have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, so it sounds like once you have the clarity about what you want and the courage to go after it, the connections that you make your life more fulfilling.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, so honestly, I feel so much gratitude. Like, I'm in a place right now where every single person that is coming into my life, it's like a deeper and deeper and deeper connection. It's like, it's so aligned. And it's like, for me, that's a sign like I'm on the right path. Like, something is going right. And don't get me wrong, it took me a long time to get to that place. Like, I've been in times in life where I've been surrounded by people and good people, but it was just like surface level and not that level of connection. And I'm like, like I know there's more, and I was like craving more deeper, meaningful connections. Yeah, that's why like I create and do what I do, because I'm like, I know there's people who need that. And I think the connection piece is so important. And when you have that, even if it's one person, two people, three people, it's like something shifts in your life. It's like, oh, I feel seen, I feel understood.
Yeah.
Everything's, yeah, aligned.
Yeah, love it, love it. Okay, so final question for the girl or the woman who's watching and she feels like she knows that she's meant for more, but she's afraid. She recognizes that she is the black sheep. She recognizes that she's not walking in her main character role in her life. She feels afraid. Like, what is one truth that you would want her to know tonight?
Mm. Ah, I love this. Okay, I would say two things. I would say number one, embrace your uniqueness, because the world needs your light in the world, and we need to hear you. And I'm a big believer that if you have something to say, share something in your heart, whatever it is, you're meant to go after it, and the world needs it too. Because I think we all came into this world with our own unique gifts to share, and when you are tapped into that and go after that, you get to win because you're in alignment, but so does everyone else around you, because the light and everything that comes with that is so powerful. So owning who you are, I think is one of the most powerful work that any of us can do. And I still am in this process. I still do it. It's something I do with clients, but I know looking back how much I own it now compared to where I was in the past, which is another big thing. Just on a side note, on a little tangent, that compare yourself to where you were a year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 months ago, not looking where everyone else is. That is going to change the trajectory of your life. Like literally, when you look back at where you were versus where, doesn't matter where anyone else is, look at your life and see the progress. It's going to be a huge like game changer there as well. And the last thing is that I did actually create a guide called the Black Sheep's Guide to Saying Yes to Your Life. So I can share the link. And if anyone wants that, you can sign up to that as well.
Yes, I would love that. So I was just going to say, Dalia, please like share your links in the comments. Tell my people where they can find you. And y'all, go and subscribe to this Black Sheep's Guide to, say it
Saying
again,
yes to your life.
saying yes to your life, because y'all know that's my kind of carrying on. So we want the link to that. Subscribe, go and follow her, y'all. This is the kind of leadership, like a self-led woman, someone else on the other side of the world who is also telling you to say yes to yourself, to own your power, to own your uniqueness. These are the kind of people that you get to surround yourself with. This is what you need to be scrolling through your feed looking at. Wonderful, positive people living their life to the fullest, letting you know it's possible for you too. So tell them where to find you on it. You're an Instagram girly, right? So tell them
Hey,
where
I'm
to
on
find
it.
you on Insta.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. First of all, if you do sign up to the guide, then you'll be on my email list, and I send weekly emails there with magic and inspiration. So you'll be part of that. And if you're on Instagram, I'm literally at my name, Dalia Kemble. So I'll share the link, and you can. I'd love to connect with you there as well.
So wait, this has been such a wonderful conversation. You guys can look for us to do more of these as the year progresses. We were like, I'm sure we could come up with other things to talk about, and I felt like this was amazing. So
Yes, thank you so much.
you are so welcome, guys. I love you all so very much. As always, I cannot wait to see your transformation. Have a great night. We'll talk soon. Bye, loves.